Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Tanya Hoffman's fabulous TV show. I am super excited to have my fabulous guest today, Miss Renee Dubner. Yay!
Hello.
And we're going to have a blast all day long. And, oh, great. Tim just said he's going to be in Austin Thursday and Friday. Love to connect with you.
Oh, okay.
So, yay. One of the things that I love is connecting with people that have big reaches, but also people just have great heart. And I went to San Diego this week, met with the most amazing people, got new clients, went on a yacht ride.
Wow.
Chatted with a lady on the yacht who's going to the Oscars, and she's going to be at Sharon Stone's table, and she's like, "Oh, it's no big deal." And
Wow.
so, you start reaching out and you start connecting with people. And Renee is one of those people that when I'm around her, I just feel at ease, and she just brings such light, and she's an artist, the amazing work that she does. And maybe she can show us some of her art. I see some.
Definitely. It's behind me.
Yay. So tell us a little bit about you, Renee, and what you're up to.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya, for that introduction. And it touches my heart when I hear feedback like that about how I come across to people. That makes me feel really good. That's my goal.
Right.
Let's see. Well, I haven't always been on this path, and I had some challenges in my life a couple years back that really made me stop and think about the path that I'm on, and it changed my life. This stopping and really getting clear about the direction I wanted to go in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that, right?
Yes.
People always talk about, using social media, using websites, using these tools and techniques, but it's all about reaching out and really enjoying what you're doing at the same time. And I think people forget that, just because something seems like, I got to do Twitter today or whatever, you can really enjoy it and enjoy the whole thing, right? And being a part of it.
You really can. In fact, I am finding, because I consider myself a new entrepreneur. I'm new to doing my own thing, and I love it so much. But there's some things that I could do that I don't love as much. And I'm finding that if my heart isn't behind it 100%, if my passion's not behind it 100%, it will go, it will fail. It will just not get a response or any sort of reception from people because that energy is not behind what I'm doing. And things like tweeting or posting to Facebook every day, I resisted doing that because I just, my heart wasn't on board. And my heart finally is on board with reaching out to people, with sharing information, whatever is coming up for me, whatever is important for me. I'm just sharing it. Like, hey, guys, I've got this. Here it is. And it's getting a tremendous response because it's important to me. It's passionate to me.
Yeah.
And it's getting the response.
And I think it's also about kind of being open to possibilities and new experiences too. And if y'all don't know, I forgot to tell y'all, I am the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association. So just kind of FYI.
Yeah.
And I was just at an event, and have you heard of constellations? Doing a constellation?
I have indeed I've done a constellation many, many times.
One of the top constellation practitioners in the world was there, and Gary Stewart, he was amazing. And suddenly I had this whole experience that, you just kind of leave yourself open for things, and you just never know what's going to happen. And they were doing a constellation for someone else. And suddenly I was enraged and I wanted to go and kill one of the people that was representing of a grandfather figure. And I was like, my hand was hurting. I was like, and everyone's like, you turned into somebody else. I'm like, this is crazy. And,
Wow.
sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen. But if you're open to things, it can change you. It changed me in a way. And I think it's all about enjoying the moments and letting the brilliance of others come through, right?
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think when you start something new, that's part of it, is being open to whatever is going to come in. In our Western culture, we like to plan. We want to know what the outcome is going to be. We want to know the results before we take the leap. And that's not all bad. That's really not all bad. But when it comes to forming the life that's around your purpose, your heart purpose, your soul purpose, your divine purpose, you have to sit in that place of not knowing and just being open to whatever is going to come through for you, and see how it takes place, or see how it takes shape. And that's hard.
And it's interesting because when you look at, we've got all of these incredible opportunities now. When I used to own retail stores, back in the 90s, you didn't have anything. You had the Yellow Pages, you had radio, and now there's ways to connect with people. I mean, here we are on blabbing away, right?
It is incredible.
And there's so much that for especially small business owners we can do quickly to divide and conquer, right? What do we feel really good about? And then so what can we do with that? How can we enhance that?
Right. Right. It's amazing. The platforms that we have today for getting out our passion, our brilliance, our whatever it is, whatever brilliance we want to share with the world, and we're so fortunate to be able to do that. That we could do that on such a huge level, and that's a big advantage to me in the work that I'm doing. And by the way, let's see, 2013, I started my business. It's called Mother Mary's Journeys LLC. And it started as a divine path, really, a divine inspiration to create, organize spiritual journeys especially to the shrines of Mary, and not in the traditional way, in a very different way. I didn't know what the different way was supposed to look like. I just knew it was going to be different.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got started. But once I said yes to that, so many more things opened up. I'm an artist. I do mixed media collage that's very much divinely inspired. I am getting, I receive and write beautiful messages about just kind of universal truths that I share with people that give them a tremendous amount of comfort. Now
you're a great speaker, and
Oh, thank you. And speaking's coming into part of my new skill set. I'm an energy healer. I never foresaw this. If I had tried to make a plan, and I want to look like this, and and these are the steps that I'm going to take, and it's only going to fit inside this box, I never would have gotten these wonderful skills. I never would have gotten these beautiful, new, exciting things.
Exactly. And do you think that a lot of people keep their brilliance from showing because just of the fears that are blocking them? I know that was my issue.
Yeah. And Tanya, I have to say, you're such an inspiration because you too, you were living a kind of more traditional, you were on a more traditional trajectory, and you decided it wasn't working for you, and you switched. And I did the same thing too, but it's always inspiring to see other people who have done it and made it work for them in a big way. And I think that that is what keeps people from living their most brilliant, happy life is fear. And I'm also going to add, it's a Western, maybe a more Western mindset that you have to check certain boxes, you have to take certain steps that are considered acceptable.
Yes.
Like you get out of college, you get a job, you go as high as you can in that job, you build a certain life, and that's it. But you and I know that it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to choose it.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because when I was flying to San Diego, I sat next to a lady and we just started talking, and she ended up signing up with the Public Speakers Association. She's like, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I can't believe I sat next to you," and all of this. And then she was able to help me, and bring me value, because we all have our expertise. She's a lawyer, and she was like, "Oh, have you thought about this?" Because I was wanting to go into England and Germany now. And so we're talking. And so everyone's got a brilliance. And if you allow others to show you their brilliance, then it's kind of an equal exchange of energy, right?
I agree. It's a win-win. You just never know the way that another person is going to be able to share with you, and you'll be able to share with them in Touch Lives, which I know, Tanya, is what you're all about, is people touching lives and giving us the platforms to share these sorts of things. I think a lot of people, and I work a lot with women, not exclusively, but I work a lot with women, and a lot of us women are afraid to shine our light and to say I'm brilliant, and really step out there in a bold way. And I just want to encourage them and all people to dream big and to think outside the box and think about what a happier, more brilliant, best life looks like. It's not as difficult to achieve as your brain might think. Like, oh, I can't do that. I'm going to shut it down.
Yeah.
You just never know. Just put the idea out there.
And sometimes you jump into something, as Renee knows, and it doesn't quite fit the way you thought it was going to fit. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to fit later, or that it's not something that's going to have value now. But a lot of times what I see people do, the lawyer lady, I just got off the phone with her because she was like, "Okay, now what do I do?" And, and she's like, and I said, what, because she wanted to buy into all these other programs that she was finding out about. And I'm like, I like learning while I'm doing. So instead of what everyone wants to do is they want to go to school and then go do. But it's such a long process that way versus going out and doing immediately. And then as you're doing, you're perfecting, and you never want to perfect, but you want to move forward. So if you're wanting to do a blab show, and you want to get good at interviewing and being an interviewee, then it's about just getting in there and doing it and being a part of something like that.
I think that speaks to the fear of wanting to be an expert first and then trying it out. I want to learn everything I can and get my certificate, and then I can show people, look, I'm an expert. And sometimes it's as scary as it can be. Just diving in and trying it is really the best way.
Yes, and it's more fun too, right? If you're in your face, if your face is in a book, or you listen to audios the whole time or something, you're not really participating. You're kind of a passive, passenger, if you would. And if you get in there and you're actually driving the car, you can feel how it is to drive versus being a passenger, right?
Right. I think that wanting to study everything first before you try it speaks to perfectionism. And perfectionism is probably one of the biggest things that shuts dreams down. You want to know everything about it. You want to know exactly how it's going to look and work and feel before you even try. And if you allow perfectionism to take the lead, then chances are you're never going to try ever, because you'll never feel perfect enough to try.
Yeah.
So I encourage anybody with a perfectionist streak, and I'm one of those people, to just shut that urge down. Just tell yourself, yeah, so what? If it's not perfect, what's going to happen?
Exactly.
It's not going to fall apart.
And, too, for a lot of if someone wants to do blab, or someone wants to even just, I'm like, I met a lady who's never been on Twitter. She's like, I just don't know what to do. I'm like, you just go and you do. And then you tweak. I know Jim Pagamsis is on here, and his favorite word is tweak, tweak, tweak. You got to get out there and adjust and move and figure out, for me, and I guess that's what I think it's been a lot easier for me than others, is I like change. I like to adjust and adjust quickly. So I don't mind failing and failing fast quickly, because then you get to find out what works, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly it. And take it out for a ride.
Yeah, and you probably get people who are that perfectionist, don't you? And you're trying to get them to move, but they don't want to because they don't want to fail at it, right?
Yeah, that is the biggest thing. I'm going to say again, especially women, I can relate to it. We get on this perfectionist roller coaster. Like, we're not going to try until we can do something perfectly, and that's never going to happen. So just try and take it out for a ride. See how it feels for you. Find a way to make it work for you. I'm thinking about social media and myself. Like, there's so much social media. I don't know.
Yeah.
It can come at you 100 miles an hour. Just figure out a way to make it feel comfortable for you, to make it fit for you, and make sure that your heart and your energy, your passion are behind the way you're doing it. And I think you've got a winning combination. You don't have to be perfect to do that. Just try.
Exactly. And also what I find too is that using social media, so one of the things I would suggest for everybody is you take that second step away from yourself, because a lot of times we want an outcome. We're like, okay, if I connect to this person, I want to sell, or I want a connection to the sale, or whatever. You want, and I think a lot of people are connected to the outcome. Right. And Stacy is a perfect example. So Stacy emailed me or messaged me on Facebook, and in the forefront, it didn't look like there was any reason we should be friends. And, because she wasn't interested in speaking, and she's in the fashion world. And I'm like, there's no real connection, but you go ahead and you're like, hey, and we had a great conversation. And then she saw that I was going to San Diego, and she's like, hey, let's have dinner while you're here. I'm like, okay. Then the next thing, she brings somebody with her who wants to be a part of the association. And then that person has a yacht, and she's like, let's go on the yacht. And then we're becoming friends, and then she's connecting me to people that do, right? So it's not about the person. You got to remember, it's about the people they know,
Right. And the energy you bring. Tanya, you're always passionate about the Public Speakers Association. You're always passionate about the topics that you talk about. Your heart is 100% behind them. So people pick up on that. And so you meet people, and they know people, and they say, hey, you got to meet this lady. She's really great. And I want to just speak to that broader message about the energy that you have behind your business, and what you do has less to do with dollar signs and about the people that you know, the number of emails you have on your email list, or the number of likes you have on your Facebook page. That has significantly less to do than the energy that you've got behind your work. If you love it, your heart's behind it, you believe in it 100%, people will read that and they'll want to follow you. I really do. I mean, I've seen the things that I've launched and tried if my heart isn't behind it, if I have some hesitation or fear, nobody will buy. Nobody will sign up. It'll fall flat. If my heart's behind it, if they really see my passion and it's all about energy, people get on board and they love it.
And I think too, people want the easy way. And I want to suggest to everybody that stop looking for everything to be easy.
It's not easy.
Especially, in the work that you do, you've got to transform people and get them to move. And I'm sure a lot of it is like really deep soul searching type of stuff.
It is. And the soul search starts with me, because I don't speak to anything that I haven't already experienced. So if I'm struggling with something, I think other people must be struggling with this too. They must be struggling with fear of the future, fear of taking a risk. They must be struggling with self-compassion or self-confidence. They must be struggling with dealing with anxiety. I'm dealing with that. I'm just going to put it out there and say, this is something that I found to be true for myself, and here's how I'm dealing with it. And here's how spirit and truth kind of supports that.
Right.
And the response to that has been tremendous. So when I get authentic, again, people pick up on that.
Yeah, and people, they have a tendency to overwork, overwork the I've got to have everything systemized and processed, and instead of looking at how are people feeling, in business especially, we want to, I've got an insurance company, I'm trying to sell insurance. No, you're not. You're trying to help somebody. And I think we get so stuck on the product or the service that we forget it's about what you're going to actually do for people.
And the sale. We get stuck on the sale. I really need to make money from this program. You know what that does to a program?
Yeah.
Shuts it down.
Well, that event that I just went to in San Diego, we had brilliant people that had incredible expertise on stage. But when they got to the sale, they totally messed it up because it became about the sell and stopped making it about the people in the audience. I got up on stage. I didn't even sell from stage and closed a heck of a lot of business because it's about them, right? It's about the connection and what I can actually do for them. And, so sometimes people have to kind of step back and say, why am I doing this? And am I so stuck on the outcome? Because this is what happens to a lot of people, especially in the speaking world, is they get really stuck on the outcome than they are on the process of the connection.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. When you get stuck on the outcome, you're, I think, setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment.
Yeah.
And I know
this brings down the confidence, right?
Yes. Yes. And you're more likely to say, well, forget this. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to go back to doing what I was before that made me really miserable. So, okay, we were talking about the outcome. I know this is hard, and I know this in my heart of hearts, not to be stuck on the outcome, to just have no expectation of how it's going to turn out. That really is the way to go. Just say, I'm going to put this out there to the world. People might buy it. They might not. And I'm going to be okay with however it turns out.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't really...
Hard, but you got to do it.
I know. People, and I've found for myself, and it's always crazy to me because I'm like, okay, if I went to do this whole social media campaign and I'm stuck on the total outcome of it, and then it happens and nothing happens, then I'm incredibly disappointed. But if I say, let me try this out and see what people think and see how it resonates with people and see where I need to tweak, now I'm more connected to people and what they're getting out of it versus the outcome of it.
And what you expected, what you wanted to have happen.
Yes. And then I stopped having that, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to help anybody ever because no one seems to be resonating? I'm like, you're too close to the action. You've got to pull yourself back and not care. And it seems crazy. Hello there. That people are, so connected and to what is about to happen that they miss the whole point. When I stopped caring, and it's not caring, it's caring about the outcome. Once I stopped caring, you have this confidence about you. So when I get on stage and I'm speaking in front of, there was 100, 200 people there, 150 or so, you can see the people who were like, okay, I've got to make this work, people. I've got to pay for all this expenses. You just feel it. You feel that.
You have to buy what I'm selling.
And of course that makes you go, I don't want it. Don't give it to me, and versus when I get up on stage and I'm like, okay, this is what I've got. And just leave it, right? And people are like, ooh, and their mouth starts to drool, because you're setting them up for success and you're setting them up for, oh, she's just so calm about it. She's so relaxed. And when you seem relaxed, that's when people are like, oh, you must be incredibly successful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, part of it is believing 100% that you are that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to just speak to living your best life and contentment and happiness. These words get thrown around a lot, but how many of us really truly believe that we deserve happiness? I'm just throwing that out there. I put up a link to a podcast that I've been listening to lately. It's called On Being Happy, and it's on iTunes. And this is a podcast that interviews a woman named Carolyn Miller, and she did a lot of research about goal setting. And she just kind of backs up some of the points I wanted to make about being happy. One of the things she said is, in order for a dream or a goal or a venture to really take off, you need to be happy first. And happy doesn't mean happy. It means just kind of being in contentment with what you're doing in your life, your day-to-day practices, whether it's doing yoga or doing an art class or just playing a sport. You play pickup basketball or whatever. You're feeding your soul and you're feeling that contentment. And therefore, you're in the right, you're primed for really setting that goal and making it a success, whether it's launching a business or whatever that goal is.
Mm-hmm. I totally get it.
Yeah, there really is something behind working with our internal selves and giving care to our internal selves instead of saying, all of these external things are going to make me happy. I'll be happy when fill in the blank. Yeah. I get a new job. I'll be happy when I retire. I'll be happy when I make $1 million. I'll be happy when I have a boyfriend or I'm married or whatever.
Yeah.
It comes from within. So I really want to stress that the work that I do, I think, Tanya, I can speak for you, the work you do, you really have to care for that inner self and feeding yourself through your passions, through creativity, through mindfulness practices, so that you can really put that goal out there and have an even greater chance of making it a success.
Well, and I know for myself too, there's some big steps that I had to take. And, when I looked at, the progressions to where I am, and I'm like in such a happy place right now. Yeah. And a lot of it is from putting myself around people that I just adore and that we feel very connected, and you start getting around the right people. And I want to suggest to everybody, if you're kind of like this place in your life that you feel like there's no momentum, are you even surrounding yourself with people who have great momentum for themselves and are willing to help you, bring you along and help you? And those are the kind of people that's really important. And not just locally, stretch yourself and look at more of a global experience. There's so many incredible people around the world with so many incredible opportunities and perspectives that it really brings great value to your life.
I would love to expand on that. I heard something about frenemies. And we know who frenemies are. They're your friends or your family members, loved ones, people around you who you like. They're part of your circle, but they're not necessarily going to support you and give you words of encouragement for your dreams. And here's the startling statistic that I heard. This is especially true of women because women are more likely to put up with frenemies than men. If you tell your dream, perhaps let's say it's launching a business. You got a new business idea. You want to put something new up on Etsy. If you tell your dream to somebody who gives it a negative comment like, oh, is that really a good idea? You're 75% more likely never to make that dream happen. You're never going to do it because that one person who's in your circle, you considered a friend, said, meh.
Yeah.
And it rained on your parade.
And you've got to control it, and you have the ability to control it, right? If you've got social media, guess what? There's blocks, right? You can block anybody on your email. You can opt people out. You're like, bye, unsubscribe.
Yes.
You don't have to have people in your life like that.
I remember when I was stepping out and creating this business, which sounded crazy. I used to be a middle school teacher, and I'm starting a spiritual travel business. I was very selective about who I told this dream to because I knew that it would only take one naysayer to say, oh, that's dumb.
Right.
And I might have never tried. So be very careful. Be very selective.
Yes. And,
trust those people.
And, look at each time you meet somebody, where is the exchange of energy? Are you feeling really connected to that person? And if not, it's okay, and then if there's any kind of, then just let that person go, even if you think it's going to help your business or people are telling you this is the person you need. And if it doesn't feel good to you, let it go.
Right. It doesn't mean you have to erase that person from your life. It just means maybe keep them at a very controlled distance from you. If you see their call coming in, I can't talk to you right now because I'm working on something. It's very personal and I don't need any sort of commentary from this person that's going to dissuade me from moving it forward.
Well, and I always look at, and when I tell people, when you're looking at, speaking, to helping people through the head game that we play when you get in front of a crowd, 25% of the people automatically don't like you. They just are like, but guess what? You don't like them either. They're the same back, so let those people go. Focus on the people that are brilliant, that are wonderful, that you connect with, that you're like, you're just like, these are my peeps. Those are the people that will immediately buy and help you and support you. And then the other 50% just hasn't made a decision. So just let them make that decision. Some people take a longer time to decide if they really like you or not. And be okay with whichever decision they make, Yeah,
that's one a lot of us struggle with is that 25% that doesn't like you, because some of us want to be liked by everyone. And you can't be, as tough as that is to get your mind around. We can't be liked by everybody. You've got to find your own tribe and let the people that don't like you fall out of the way so the ones that are part of your tribe can find you. And I have to remind myself that on a regular basis. Oh, I think I lost Tanya. Well, keep talking. Anyway, a lot of it is so much about positivity and keeping your mind in the right place so that you can keep moving forward. She's back.
Right? I know. It's like, what happened? It's called blab.
Yeah.
And the internet.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And see, sometimes we just don't feel connected and we just, disappear.
Right. Right. I wanted to bring up something that I hear a lot from people, and I deal with it too. How we're talking about happiness and your spirit being in the right place so that you can do your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you undo all of those negative beliefs about yourself or about the situation that keep popping up?
Mm-hmm.
The mind is so strong, and we have to deal with our mind saying, oh, you can't do that, that's stupid. And it requires a certain level of daily mindfulness practices to undo all those negative feelings and ideas and emotions and beliefs that keep cropping up.
Right.
And just consistently telling yourself, I can do this. I'm stronger than that negative voice inside myself. And you can tailor your mindfulness practice to be however you want it to be, whether it's through journaling or meditation or some sort of quiet, very reflective time that you take every day so that you can really cultivate new beliefs about yourself.
Yeah. And what I did, because I was in a victim mentality for very many years. And and that's why I was such an introvert. If y'all have never seen the picture of me, this was in 2005 at the Leander Chamber of Commerce, total introvert. One of the things that I looked at is, first of all, I had to admit that I was being negative. And that's really hard because you have to look at what are you thinking and why,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember standing at the gas tank, and that's when gas was like $4 a gallon or whatever. And
I remember.
Like, pump. Oh gosh, I don't have money for this and blah, blah, blah. It's so expensive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm being so negative. And then how do you turn that around, right? How do you change that mindset? And so I was pumping, and I was like, okay, well, what's good about this? Oh my gosh, I just went and met all these incredible people all week long, right? It got me to places. I got to enjoy life. I got to build my business. I got to bring in income for my business. It's like this whole shift, and I was like happy that I'm feeling. So every time I go to the gas tank, I'm like, oh my gosh, I did more this week, and I've got the money to fill up my tank again. And it was amazing how fast things started progressing once I changed that mindset.
Exactly. And then doing that on a regular basis, like every day. If you only do it once, it feels good in the moment, and then it just kind of dissipates and we forget about it. And we're maybe back to being negative or being a victim. But it requires a regular practice. It's like growing a garden. You have to keep putting water on the seeds so that your new mindset becomes the positive one, and it's no longer the victim one. It's no longer the negative one.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a lot of people want to blame outside circumstances for whatever boat they're in. And you hit the nail on the head. You got to kind of say, well, ultimately, I'm responsible for my life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's not my awful job or boss, or again, fill in the blank.
Right. And, even when you start looking at, nitpicking things, I hear people like, oh, I was on Facebook one time and this person was so mean to me, so I'm not doing Facebook anymore. I'm like, really? You're going to allow one person to screw it up for you forever? I mean, that is so illogical, Mm-hmm. There's millions and millions and millions of people, billions of people out there, and one person is going to keep you from doing something.
Right. And there's a certain, that comes down to resilience and being able to take that one negative person and just say, look, that's one person's opinion. And we know in social media we can put any opinion out in the world. So,
well, and I think also too, when you look at, you get that negative comment, what you do with that. I now look at it as, oh, good. That means that I'm really pushing buttons. That means I'm really moving the dial, and people are really thinking about what I just said. And yay, I found someone in my bottom 25% who doesn't like me. Move on.
Right. That means that you're honing your message even more so that your tribe can find you. And I faced that too recently. I'm putting together my ReneeDubner.com website, and the hardest thing was to write my About Me page, because you really have to go deep and say, well, who am I? Who do I serve? And what am I doing? Those are some tough questions. So I received feedback saying, you could either go middle of the road and try to please everybody with a mainstream kind of vanilla message, or you can be out there. Exactly. And some people are going to read that and say, that's not me. She's not speaking my language. Mm-hmm. Or you're going to find people that say, oh my gosh, I hear you. I love what you're saying. Sign me up.
Exactly.
And I decided to go that route. I've done vanilla. It didn't work. I tried not to offend anybody. I tried to get everybody to like me. It feels like crap.
Yeah. Yes. I'm so glad you came back around.
Yeah, me too.
Because I know I was like, what's there not to like? I can't believe you don't like this. What am I doing wrong that you don't like?
Smiley. Yeah, whatever.
It's like, get over myself, So tell me, Renee, what do you have for people today? Do you have a way for them to connect with you?
Yes. My ReneeDubner.com website is still in progress, but you can connect with me through my Renee Dubner public figure Facebook page. And I'd love for you to connect with me there, because I am sharing things every day that really speak to what we talked about today, about living your best life, about working through the emotions that shut down dreams, about the inspired messages that I receive. I put all of that on Facebook. I just go ahead and put it all up there. And I would love for you to like my Facebook page. And I'm going to put the link in the comments section.
Perfect.
So that you can do that.
Awesome. And here's my websites too. So y'all can get connected with me. We'd love for you to be a part of our Blabathon. Every one of y'all needs to be in my Blabathon. It's March 22nd, and we're going to have a full day from like 10 a.m. Central Time to 8 p.m. Central Time of blabbing. And so it's going to help people get their message out there. We're going to push it out to my entire social media realm, which is 20,000 people. So you can get your message heard, and people can get to experience your brilliance, just like Renee just did.
Oh, thank you. And I have an offer for the people who are listening today. If you email me, and I'll give you my email address here in the comments section.
So you can't type and talk at the same time too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yes, I can't multitask in that way. Okay, I've just put up my email address. If you email me after this blab, I will send you a copy of one of my art cards, and you can specify which one you want. This is my peace card. So this is my collage art on the one side, and on the back is a prayer for peace that I received and wrote. And these prayers and this art, it's not just a card. It holds an energy, it holds healing, it holds a vibration that's very powerful. And I'm not just saying that. I have gotten this feedback from many people who have experienced the card and read it. So this is a prayer for peace. If you're wanting more peace in your life, this is the prayer for you. You can tell me which card you want. And I'm going to show you my heart opening card. You can choose this one. It says Bloom Open. It's a beautiful heart. And on the back is a prayer that I received and wrote. And it's called A Prayer for Heart Healing, Opening, and Expansion. Again, very powerful. So if this is what you're needing, let me know.
Yay. Take advantage of that.
Heart or peace, just write me at the email address below. Say, I want one, and I'll make sure you get one. I'll send one to you.
And if y'all are listening to this on YouTube, it's Renee at reneedubner.com, and you can see how to spell her name right there.
Great. Yeah.
So
yeah. Did I, Tanya, I couldn't remember. I sent you these, right? I didn't. Okay. All right. I had it in my head.
I would love them.
Yes. No, I'm sending it. I said I would, and I will.
Yay.
So, Tanya gets to experience them.
Yay.
Yeah.
All righty, everybody. And make sure you go to the website, publicspeakersconference.com. We have nominations open right now. We would love for you to nominate yourself or get someone to nominate you for Collaborator of the Year. So if you love helping people, get connected there and get yourself nominated. We also have video submissions open, and there's so many categories that you can choose from best personal development tip, best business tip, best personal story, whatever it is. So it's under a 5-minute video. Submit it and you could be a winner. So we would love for you to take advantage of that. The conference is June 26th through the 29th in Palm Springs, California. And we would love for you, everybody, to be there. There's got to be the most amazing people, top 6-figure, 7-figure speakers that are all there, heart-centered, that want to help you change your life, get your message heard so that you can go out and change lives. So thank you, Renee, for being on today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, everybody who was here and listening. Appreciate it.
Yay.
And I'd love to hear from you. So I can send you your card.
Yeah. And tomorrow we have the fabulous Miss Dillis Davis and Andrea Sellinger and Rosemary Barnes. So it's going to be a full house tomorrow.
All right. I feel lucky. I'm glad I was the only one in the seat today.
Right.
Yay.
All right, everyone. See you later.